Hello everyone. In the last two lectures, we have been focusing on the topic of sequences. The first type of sequence that we covered was the string sequence. Recall that string is nothing but a sequence of characters. Then we moved on to learning about list sequence. Lists enable us to store various data types. We have covered various methods that are specifically applicable to string sequences and methods which are specifically applicable to list sequences. We'll be dedicating today's lecture for sequence practice because sequence is kind of a tricky topic. In this video, I'll be covering problem 1 from today's lecture worksheet. Before we get started with problem 1, I want to do a quick recap of find method. Recall that find method is specifically applicable to string sequences. Let's consider the string three. If I were to invoke find method on this string by passing string e as argument, what will be the return value? Please pause the lecture video here and write a comment in the comment section stating your answer to this question. Let me write down the index positions. Character T is at index position 0, H at 1, R at 2, first E at 3 and second E at 4. Recall that find method call returns the index position of the first matching occurrence of your search string. So this particular find method call is going to return a value of 3. What will be the return value if I were to invoke find method call on the same string by passing string C as argument? Please pause the lecture video here and write a comment answering this question. If you were thinking the return value would be -1, then you had the correct answer to my question. Find method call returns a value of -1 whenever it cannot find a match. The character C is not part of the string 3, hence the return value is -1. Let's learn about index method. The index method is specifically applicable to list sequences. Index method enables you to look up the index of a specific item. You're going to invoke the index method by using the list sequence variable, and you'll be passing the item as argument whose index position you want to look up. Let's go through example invocations for index method using nums list, which is defined as part of problem 1. Let me write down the positive index positions. Item 100 is at index position 0, item 2 is at index position 1, 3 at 2, 40 at 3, 99 at 4. The first example of index method call that I want to cover is nums.index of 3. What will be the return value? That will be 2, correct? That's because item 3 is at index position 2. The main difference between find method and index method comes in terms of handling of lookup for non-existent item. For example, if I were to invoke index method call by saying nums.index of 45, the program is going to crash. That's because index cannot handle non-existent item index lookup. This is unlike find method call, which is going to return a value of -1 when there is no match for the search string. Let's do a quick recap of the concept of indexing and slicing. Recall that indexing enables you to extract one item from a sequence of items. What is the syntax for indexing? You're going to mention the sequence variable name, then open square bracket, index position and close square bracket. Sequencing is going to enable us to extract a subsequence. Slicing is going to enable us to extract a subsequence from the original sequence of items. Whenever you slice a sequence, you're going to get a subsequence of the same sequence type. What do I mean by that? If you slice a list, you're going to get a list subsequence. If you slice a string, you're going to get a string as subsequence. Immaterial of the number of items within the sliced subsequence, you're always going to get a subsequence of the same type as the original sequence. What is the syntax for slicing? You'll have to mention sequence variable name, open square bracket, start of the slice, colon, end of the slice. Neither start nor end index position here are mandatory, but the colon is mandatory. Recall that start index position is inclusive, meaning that you will include the item at start index position as part of your subsequence. The end index position is exclusive, meaning that you will leave out the item at end index position. How do you differentiate between various usages of the square brackets here? The technical term for that is overloading. When you have multiple meanings for a certain thing, you call that as overloading. Look within the square brackets. If you have a comma, then you are defining a list. If you have a colon, then you are slicing. If you neither have a comma nor a colon, you are indexing. Before we get started with problem 1, I want to write down the index positions for the items within the nums and the words list. Let's write down both positive index positions and negative index positions. I'm going to write down the negative index positions at the bottom. 99 is at index position -1, 40 at -2, 3 at -3, 4 at -2 at -4, 100 at -5. Similarly, the string 3 is going to be at index position 0, string 2 is going to be at index position 1, string 1 at 2, string 1 is going to be at index position -1, 2 at -2, string 3 at -3. I would strongly encourage all of you to go through each of the subproblems on your own before you watch me go through the subproblem. So please try out a subproblem by pausing the lecture video and then come back and watch me go through the subproblem. Let's get started by going through subproblem number 1. Let's look within the square brackets. We neither have a comma nor a colon, so this particular usage is going to be indexing, correct? We already have 2 examples of definition for lists that's given in the lines of code where we initialize the nums and the words variable, because within the square brackets you have a comma. What is nums of -1? That is simply going to be the value 99 here. Let's go through subproblem 2. We are doing slicing because there is a colon within the square brackets. Nums of 1 colon 3 is first of all going to produce a list. Within that list, you're going to have the items at index position 1 and 2. You're not going to include the item at index position 3 because end index is exclusive. What is words of 1? That's simply going to be the string 2 here. What is going to be words of 1 of 1? We already know that words of 1 is going to be the string 2. So we need to check 2 of 1. Let's write down the index positions. T is at index 0, W at 1, O at 2. O is going to be at -1, W at -2, and T is going to be at -3. Words of 1 is simply going to be the string W, correct? Whenever you are indexing, if you index into a string, you're going to get one character always keep in mind that you're going to add double quotations around characters or around strings. If you extract an integer, then you're only going to get just the integer value, which was the case with subproblem 1 here. When you perform indexing, you're only going to extract one specific value. Let's go through subproblem number 5. Words of 1 of -2 is again the character W. We are multiplying that by nums of 2, which is 3. When you multiply a string by an integer, you're simply going to create a replica of that string that many number of times. So answer for subproblem 5 is going to be the string www. Let's go through subproblem 6 here. We are doing index method call to look up the index of the string 2 within the list words. So the index for string 2 is going to be 1. Index method call always returns positive index positions. Let's go through subproblem 7. We are saying nums of words dot index of 2. We already know that words dot index of 2 is 1. So nums of 1 is simply going to be 2. Since you're indexing, you will only get the value 2 here. Let's go through subproblem number 8. This is a tricky problem, so you need to be careful here. You're doing 2 slicing and you're using the addition operator. The first slice is nums of :1. When you don't mention a start, your start is going to be at the beginning of your sequence, which is going to be the item at index position 0. Even though you only get one item out of this slicing, you're still going to get a slice, because whenever you slice a list, you're always going to get a list. So the item at index position 0 is going to be the only item that is part of the slice. So the second slicing here is going to produce a list which contains the string THREE. When you add both of these lists together with a plus operator, you're simply going to create a new list which contains those two items. This is totally valid in Python. That's because within a single list you're allowed to store various data types. So the output of subproblem 8 is going to be a list which contains the values as 100, integer, and string 3. Let's go through subproblem number 9. We are using the join method call. Recall that join method call enables you to join a list of strings together using the separator. The separator here is comma. So the output of this particular join method call, which is supposed to join the items within the words list, is going to be a string which has the value as THREE, comma TWO, comma ONE. Join method call always returns a string. Keep in mind that there is no space in between comma and T and TWO here. That's because we use the separator as comma here. If you want a space, you need to mention that by saying comma space. Let's go through the last subproblem here, which is taking the output from subproblem 9 and performing a slicing. So let me write down the index positions for the characters in subproblem 9's output. T is going to be at 0, H at 1, R at 2, E at 3, and E at 4, comma at 5, T at 6, W at 7, O at 8, comma at 9, O at 10, N at 11, and E at 12. We are taking the output from the subproblem 9 and then we are applying a slicing on top of that. So we are slicing a string. When you slice a string, you're going to get another string. Your slice here is going to start at index position 4, which is going to be the second occurrence of the character E, and it's going to end at index position 6. That's because your end is exclusive. So the sliced string is going to be just E comma T here. I'll wrap up this video here. In the next video, we are going to go through demo problem using Python Tutor. So please make sure to set up Python Tutor before you watch the next lecture video.